Joining me to discuss what comes next is Florida Congresswoman Paulina Luna and Florida State Senator Blaise Ingoglia. Welcome to you both. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us on.
My pleasure.
So the letters to each of these companies said that there would be no mitigating circumstances. So if they're not in compliance as of today, Senator, will the state truly revoke all applicable licenses, even for the Red Cross?
Yes, they will. These companies, other people keep on testing the state of Florida. They keep on testing Ron DeSantis, and we keep on pushing back. They will lose their licenses. This is not going to be a starter. What people and these companies need to realize is that our laws are not a list of suggestions. They are meant to be followed.
Congresswoman, federal law, they require employers to use E-Verify for federal contracts and employers, and only 22 states actually use it in some capacity on the state level. I mean, why isn't this? It's just shocking to me when I was doing research before the show. Why isn't this the law of the land to make sure illegals are not working in this country unlawfully?
I think it's part one error on the fact that this current administration, to just kind of put how much that they've prioritized illegals over Americans, they've actually allocated about $41 million to go to various organizations that actually help illegals avoid deportation. But also to remember, there are those that are actually benefiting from employing illegals. There's a great documentary I encourage everyone to watch. It's called Trafficked in America. It was done by PBS 2 years ago. And that actually exposes the living conditions of those that are brought here illegally and working under the table. So if you do, and you are an advocate for illegal immigration, understand that you're not helping anyone. It's actually hurting these people. And frankly, the only way to protect everyone, to include our citizens first and foremost, is to be a hardline no on illegal immigration.
So let me ask you this. While speaking at a panel of House members and senators, Florida Congresswoman Maria Salazar, who's a Republican, she spoke about the need for recognizing those who came to the U.S. illegally. Take a listen.
We need to also give dignity to those people who are in the country. And those are the people that I represent. We're talking about 13, 15 million people who are, most of them Hispanics, I would say 85%, who speak my language, look like me, and sound like me, that are contributing with the economy of this country, and they live in the shadows. So it's time to seal the border, like she said, put order, let's see who comes in and who doesn't, and then turn around and give dignity. That doesn't mean path to citizenship. That means to include them and make them dignified members of our community.
I'd love more detail on what she means there, because I know a lot of people that have come on this show that came here legally and don't appreciate all these individuals that are coming in illegally. What do you think of her comments, Congresswoman?
I will say that from Pinellas County, that for the people that I represent, especially those who have come here legally, many of our constituents are actually made up of many Vietnamese immigrants that have actually fled communism, and they would not be supportive of that, and I'm not supportive of that. And so I can tell you from Pinellas County, at least, I would not be for that at all in any way, shape, or form.
And Senator, I saw you nodding your head, perhaps in agreement as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, we can have dignity, but we can't have the rule of law unless people start upholding the rule of law. And look, I'm very hopeful that this Congress can be able to hold the Biden administration accountable for their open border policy, right? But up until then, the states have to do everything that they possibly can to cut down on illegal immigration. And that means taking away some of these incentives and these magnets. So while the federal government tries to get their act together on this issue, the states, we need to continue doing what we can so we can make our communities safer.
Yeah, no question about it. And, we talk often, when you talk about the border crisis, it's always focused on Texas, maybe a little bit on Arizona, but Florida's dealing with it as well. And Senator, the U.S. Coast Guard patrolling the Florida Straits last week alone, they repatriated nearly 1,000 Cuban and Haitian migrants. They stopped an additional 239 migrants at sea. I mean, it's really becoming a growing problem here. And in the 3.5 months since the fiscal year started on October 1st, more than 4,700 migrants from Cuba alone have been stopped, almost surpassing all of fiscal year 2022's total, which has exploded, of course, over the last few years. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who's had her hands full lately, she tried to call this a political stunt by DeSantis for assisting the Coast Guard. What's the solution to curb this new influx of migrants that are coming to your state by sea?
Fix the legal immigration system. It's that simple. And then stop the illegal immigration system. Look, this problem has been festering from the federal government for the last 40 years, right? 40, 50 years since Ronald Reagan was in office. So every time when people come across the border illegally, they make excuses for ineptitude and incompetence at the federal government level. That's basically it. They need to sit down. They need to, seal the border. They need to cut off and choke off illegal immigration, and at the same time find a solution so people that are coming to this state and fleeing communist regimes like Cuba, they have an actual path to become part of the United States in a legal way. And I think everyone stands for that.
And if every state had leadership like Florida's does, we'd be in a much better place as a country. Congresswoman Paulina Luna, let me get your final thoughts here.
Look, I think it just has to be said, the left has intentionally created an immigration crisis by their own doing because they are trying to target these people for votes. And I'm frankly sick of it. They think Hispanics want open borders. We don't. We're business owners. We understand what's happening to our community. And I'm frankly sick and tired of them not only weaponizing and using our own skin colors, our own race against us to divide us. We are Americans first and foremost. We're not for illegal immigration, and we're not going to let them play this game anymore.
Well, we greatly appreciate both of you taking time to be on the program tonight. Congresswoman Paulina Luna and State Senator Blaise Ingoglia of the great state of Florida. Thank you both.